Well, we're back, and back with a vengeance. So we have not really done that much the last few weeks, month really, because, projects were hard and doing that week after week, and with the summer being as hot as it is, didn't really feel like continuing at that pace. We did do a few yard work things though.
Been a few weeks since we're out in the garden, but we've had a lot of cool updates. I moved some of the succulents over here so they're easier to water rather than dragging the hose over there. These will all go in the front yard. The plumeria have rooted, so they're starting to come in, which is exciting. In the garden box, we've had a huge explosion. We never ate this lettuce. It's just kind of doing its thing. But the basil and the mint is quite happy. Over here, this plumeria is coming on strong. It might have a spider mite problem. I actually need to look at that. But the dragon fruit has gotten quite large. It exploded in the last couple of weeks.
Touching the trellis.
It is. Look
It's actually making its way up there.
Yeah, that's our goal for the first year, so really excited about that. And then the tomato is looking a little bit sad these days. It's got some mildew issues. But I also found potentially a culprit today, which is this tomato hornworm, which I am actually super excited about. I know a lot of gardeners hate, but for me...
It's so big.
It's so huge. It's very chunky. Look at him. I'm happy to sacrifice my tomatoes for these guys because they turn into beautiful moths that I loved as a kid growing up. So I'm actually really excited that our yard is producing those same things. So eat away, little buddy. The fruit tree area has also been quite happy this summer. We have the pomegranate. It's gotten super lush. The guava is growing. The papaya has done incredible in the ground. Like that trunk has, I think, more than doubled in girth. The citrus over here seems to be recovering from the transplanting. It's flowered some more, and so I'm hoping some of the fruits will stick. We'll finally figure out what kind of citrus it is. The lemon tree has tons and tons of little guys and older guys. And then the passion fruit as well. And then the big highlight of today is our dragon fruit. It has finally matured. It's been about 47 days since pollination. And it's feeling squishy. It's the right color. Woo! Look at that.
Oh wow. That is fluorescent.
It is. So we're gonna bring this over and let some of the family taste it.
Caitlin's getting some weeding done, so we can kind of make this at least look more or less like a lawn. And while that's being taken care of, I am going to address the bird's nests that we have up here. There hasn't been any activity, any noise, so I think it is vacant, but we're going to pull down some of this chicken wire stuff. There we go, much better. That was disgusting. Some of the remnants that didn't make the bag. But this is all the stuff that stayed together. There had to have been like at least 3, maybe 4 full nests. It was like a regular old hotel up there. Also, there was this weird box thing up there, which I thought was there to prevent the birds from getting there in the first place, but it was just resting on top of it. And I think you could kind of see earlier, but there were gaps all the way around this thing, so clearly a bird could get in there. It was almost like it was inviting nests. So this definitely needs to be revised. I don't know, I think I might put something else up there to prevent birds from thinking that that's a home in the future, but at least for now we can keep this down and just vacuum up everything that is up there already, so at least it's nice and clean. Still a little brown and crispy, but otherwise it looks nice. Tell us your thoughts and feelings about having to water.
That sucks.
It's so dumb.
It is really dumb. Also, those bushes are disgusting over there.
Yeah, a lot of cobwebs.
Oh.
A lot of nasty stuff over there. I had a lot of nasty stuff up here, but we vacuumed it all too, so there's no more cobwebs. This looks really nice and clean. And then even added way up at the top there, this metal piece that we've had sitting in the garage for months, and the intent is to make like a C-channel basically on top of that, so that way there's no water that ever sits on that when it eventually rains, so that the beam doesn't rot out. That'll be painted eventually, so it'll match, won't stick out like a sore thumb, but at least for now it's protected. And then of course up there, I'll eventually put some kind of piece or something there that's slanted, maybe like a teepee, kind of like a triangle thing where it's angled, so that way there's no platform anymore for birds to start any new nests. Oh, it reaches. Maybe we'll have a grass worth cutting down soon.
You can't hold my hoe.
But besides that, this week we're taking the whole week to tackle a couple of projects and just get them fully done and out of the way, and that we can cross a few rooms off of our list. So the main project this week is going to be this room. The worst room is going to get the makeover, so then it becomes not the worst room because, as you can see, lots of patches on the wall, lots of things to fix. The game plan for this week is going to be redoing all the walls, patching up all the ceiling, retexturing that. We're going to do a smooth coat on the walls, and then probably maybe trim down at the bottom and fresh coat of paint. Yay! And then the second bonus objective is going to be the downstairs bathroom. Hopefully this can be taken care of at the same time. It's smaller space, a little bit less to work with. So we had that patch already, and we also need to obviously sand the walls here. On this one though, we're going to do paneling on this side and this side, but then the rest of this is going to be sanded and repainted. Same on this side. Probably even going to get behind this vanity. I think we can move this out, and behind this mirror, light fixtures, and this fan I think needs to be replaced as well. We got ourselves a clean room, a sealed closet, and a new toy. We probably should have gotten this a long time ago, but we got a huge drywall sander which connects to the vacuum, so that should help with the dust. At least I'm hoping. Caitlin is going to attack this ceiling and the walls, basically sand everything down so that we can then take a look at the walls, what needs to be patched, what needs to be mudded, anything like that, and then probably resand this a few times before we get our coat ready. So she's getting started, but it's a one-person job, so now my turn to do this. So I got the cabinets and everything else out of here, and now I want to pull this away from the wall, as well as get rid of all of the plumbing stuff down there. There's this really bad flex pipe which I want to get rid of because we should not have that there. I want a solid pipe, so all this is going to go out of the way, and hopefully I can get this vanity out without too much trouble so that we can reuse it. I made some progress. Mirrors off, that was easy. All the random fitments here, the towel holder and the rack back here is thankfully gone. Everything is disconnected as far as I can tell, and I just pulled it a little bit, so it looks like this is just affixed to the wall and not the vanity itself, so I should be able to slide all of this out pretty easily and actually move the whole thing out of here so that way I have more room to play. Not bad. So much room to play with now. The funny thing was, having moved everything, I noticed that it was shimmed with our good old friend cardboard, which now is like permanently fixed to the floor. Disgusting. So that'll be removed, and if we need to shim it, we'll use proper shims this time.
Noodle's concerned about the state of the plumbing. Nope, nope, don't stick your head in there.
What? Oh, hello, camera.
What are you doing?
I'm taking out the final teeny tiny piece of baseboard, and then we're ready to move forward with the sanding of the walls in here. On to day number 2, and day 2 of sanding. This thing held up really nicely, although it does burn off a little bit of the paint, and gives us a chance to see what lies underneath. So at some point, they had like this super dark blue. I don't know why anyone would paint a room that dark blue, but whatever. And even a little bit of orange in there as well. This is getting pretty flat, which is nice, but we're gonna do a few passes, a few sections of the wall we still haven't touched, and probably just go over everything again, just to show a little less beige and a little more blue. I have cocaine nose.
Yes.
Well, I think we got the walls sanded. Doesn't look the greatest, but it feels pretty smooth actually. And we did the ceiling.
Ugh.
That was one pass with the finest grit, and it was quick.
It was very easy
few
to go.
oopsie spots. It's a little hard to hold that thing up over your head. But we're gonna texture it just like we did the living room, the hallway, all of that, so it'll be hidden pretty easily. Ooh, I did a thing. So way back when, I don't even remember how many weeks ago, we were trying to route the Ethernet from the hole right there where the cable actually comes out, and just kind of put it along here, and originally it was gonna go right up here inside the wall between the 2 bedrooms, but that is supported by a lot of lumber right there, so don't want to be drawing through all of that. And so that's what this new hole is. So this line I found is actually where the wall meets the windows. They kind of push out away from this main beam that holds the majority of the wall. And right here, there's literally just a subfloor that I had to drill through, so hence the thing sticking out. So we're gonna route the Ethernet here, one here, and then another one equidistant on this side for the other room. So that way we have an outlet on this wall anyway, so right next to it will be the Ethernet cables, which will be perfect because both of our desks are by the window anyway, so excellent. Now we can run it through here just with a little bit of extra room and split up here, but it's good to know that we actually have a hole and we can actually feed it through there. Now that we're doing all the walls and stuff, might as well. Day number 3, and we got everything wiped down last night up there and got the Ethernet cable pushed through, and now while Kaylin's gonna be mudding up there, I've already started sanding this. It goes pretty fast just because there's not that much wall and that drywall sander's huge. But after about half an hour or so, 45 minutes, this is pass number 1. You can see all the paint coming through here as well as behind the paint. So this one actually went a lot faster because I guess the paint that they used in here either had stuff behind it or they used really crappy paint because it burned off fast. Next step is going to be taking the hand sander and just going around the edges where I couldn't quite get, as well as like behind the toilet, or at least as much as I can around the pipe fittings between the outlets. And then we'll go over it one more time with some finer grit, and then this room will be ready for mudding. It smells like plaster in here, but we got 2 out of the 4 walls mostly done. You can see it's kind of drying now and it gets a little whiter as it dries, but obviously you can see there's a few spots that we missed, but we just pretty much just did a really thin, just scraped it down along the wall, and so it doesn't look great, but for the most part it is flat. So I think with a couple more passes, and then of course the other walls here, which we're going to do later tonight, then this should be ready for a quick sand tomorrow and hopefully painting after that.
It is day 4, the start of day 4 on our bedroom wall project. I think we're in pretty good shape. Still have to do some of the corners and the ceiling, but on the whole, this mud is shaping out quite good. I know it looks patchy. It kind of looks like lace from afar, I like that. But it's actually really smooth. And this is with no sanding. Just doing like a little light top coat over the whole walls. It's really nicely filled it in. We still have a little bit of patching to do with the new Ethernet cable. And there's some issues over here. But really, this has gone quite well. We got all this done one day. Woohoo!
How are you doing?
Tedious sanding?
Tedious sanding?
Yeah.
Fun.
I know. I think we have a few more patches to patch, like over yonder, but then we should be done with the mud.
Yep. So we should be at least finished with the mudding today, and then after this gets sanded and we're not kicking up dust anymore, we'll do the ceiling as well so we can match what's out here. I went ahead and continued the Ethernet project. So we have a 6 gang right there. Only half of them are being used, but we have the option to put in 2 more because this thing will hold up to 4 Ethernet cables. So got that prepped. With even more so in the garage. So this is where the 2 Ethernet cables pop out, and so I made this little channel that goes all the way across, all the way to the back of the garage here, up past this beam, and then it splits to the 2 different rooms. This one is already set. I probably need to reattach this. I didn't know how much slack I had to work with, so that'll clean up eventually. And then this is the one that will go to my office, but I have not yet put the hole in, so I don't know where that's going to be mounted exactly. So it's not fully mounted yet, as well as all that slack in there. I made sure I had enough so that it can get up and into the room, obviously. Then I'll trim it down, whatever needs to be done, and we can finish that. And also, since I finally have the Ethernet cables routed where I want, I can finally patch the holes in the wall where I had a square right here to kind of see what was going on inside the wall. So put a coat of mud on that, as well as a similar patch here where there was a hole. This is where the old AT&T cable, the satellite cable, was coming out of the wall, and so patch that up because I don't want it down here. I wanted it up there. So that way we don't have to look at it. It's not as obvious and is easily hidden by the shelf. Still haven't done much in the bathroom. This one's kind of taking a back seat to the bedroom, but I'm hoping with the size of the square footage in here and the fact that we don't really have to texture these two walls. These are going to be panels, so we don't have to worry about that. They're basically ready to go. It's just this side and this little wall right here that needs to be textured or retextured, mudded, and ready for paint. And even stuff like down here is not going to be seen because of the vanity behind the toilet. So it's really just like this section right here that has to be done. So we'll get to this once the room up top is basically ready to go.
We are nearing the end of day 5. We still have some more things planned, like going to Home Depot. We've got a lot done. Alex just ran the Ethernet cable to his room. You can hear him hammering it. We're almost about ready for paint in here. So today was a lot of touch-up work on places like around this outlet cover where we had holes, and then just a couple places on the wall, paying particular attention to things like the corners here, making sure that that's smooth, that these are all rounded over, the edges are done really nicely and smoothly. These inside corners are such a pain, especially where 3 corners meet. That takes a lot of effort. But the other major piece is Alex did the ceiling, and it looks phenomenal. I bet it's hard to see on camera, the texture. Most of it's dry, so we will need to clean up a little bit more. The amount of dust on the floor is horrendous. And then tomorrow we'll paint.
It's finally paint day, prime and paint day. So we got the, this bucket was probably one of the first things we bought in this. I think the date code on there, yeah, it was purchased in 2023. That's how old this thing is. And it's just now we're scraping the bottom. So got a couple more gallons of that stuff for the walls and the ceiling, so we're going to prime everything all at once. That way we don't have to bother about taping anything. And then later this afternoon, hopefully, we'll get to actually putting color on the wall. Time for some last minute sanding.
We're going in.
Going in.
Noodles providing nap support. Come on, Noodles. You're being a good girl and not trying to bust in. Don't get any ideas. Oh no. Oh, stretchy stretch. Good girl. So we've been off to Home Depot and back with paint for the ceiling and the trim. And ta-da! Have a fresh white ceiling. But we have an unexpected issue in that there's like blue in the paint that's now smeared around. I have a feeling that some of the dye that was added to the paint to make it bright white was not mixed in, and now it's on the ceiling. It's really annoying. What do you gotta say?
What do you think? Okay, inspection's done. It's a little bit cleaner now. So we took down all the plastic because the ceiling's done. We still need to do the walls, but it was way too dusty. And so I got rid of all the plastic and vacuumed up. You look dusty.
It's been a long day. Been doing the bathroom downstairs, and it still needs more sanding.
Still, yeah. That paint in that wall was terrible.
How many layers is there?
At least 4. There's 2 layers of brown,
Yes.
a blue, and a red. So
Yeah.
that's, I can do math. That's 4.
It's hard to get it all off.
Yeah. Confined space too, I bet.
Yes.
More building materials arrived today. We got our baseboards delivered. So this is going to pretty much be the baseboards for every room except for my office and except for the kitchen, because those have already been done and we got some stuff to match it. So that way everything else matches, so we don't have 2 different types of baseboards. So this will finish off the living room, the bathroom, Caitlin's office, and the hallway. And I think that will make sure that everything is actually matching throughout the house. We also got some casting, this longer piece right here for the master bathroom door, as well as around the window in the master bedroom to match. So that way it looks a little better, a little cleaner. So this will be fun to do later on, but first we gotta finish painting. Looking good. First piece of paint on the wall. That color looks very familiar. Decided to go with the same thing that we have in the kitchen. Because it's a nice color, it's like a very light olive. And that way
More stressful work day.
soothing for you. And bonus, we have paint now for touch-ups in the kitchen. Making progress. We got this wall, everything around the window, started with that. This wall. And it looks like we just have the closet and the door area to go.
And a second coat.
And a second coat. Yeah. This is a very nice color, but the problem, oh, there's one right there. Problem is that it's so light, and this room is pretty bright during the day, where it's getting a little hard to see where the spots are, so we'll definitely have to do, oh, I just noticed a big one right there. See, you think you can see this when you're applying the paint, but then you look at it after the fact when it starts to dry, and then stuff becomes more apparent. So definitely do a second coat, even more so because of things like this, where just a little bit of the primer and the mud behind it came apart. So that one we'll actually have to resand, scuff a little bit before we apply more paint. Are you painting our patio?
I'm practicing. My dad got us a air sprayer, paint sprayer, and I'm not always the best at spraying paint. But before we do it on our new kind of expensive baseboards, we're practicing with water. It's going good.
Nice.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's lovely even coats.
Thank you.
Well, it's starting to dry up on that end.
Oh.
Refreshing?
Yeah, you want to try?
No. Well, now that we got our practice in with the air sprayer, it's time to actually apply and have some fun with this. There is a lot of baseboard, so we have 9 16-foot baseboard pieces, as well as 4 17-foot casting pieces for the window and for the door. So we got a good spray area right here. I think the thought is this one right here is going to be where we actively spray, and then along here is where we'll put them when they're done so that they can dry. And so hopefully we can do multiple at a time, at least like, you know, maybe half at a time, so we can have this all ready and sitting and drying while we spray here. And then hopefully it should be a quick pass of a few things, and then we can have all of these painted. Making progress. I gotta step very carefully. These 4 have been painted. This one has not. It's hard to tell, but take my word for it. Overspray is not as bad as I thought it would be with this sprayer. It is pretty concentrated, which is nice. And we got the garage door at least cracked, just enough so that we're not getting a full breeze, but enough that we're getting some airflow out of here. And thankfully the breeze isn't too heavy right now, so should be pretty nice. We're about a fifth of the way through though. There's still a lot of those to go.
Would you like to show off your masterpiece?
Look at our beautiful baseboards. They were once white, now they're whiter.
Ooh, ah.
White and shiny.
Yeah, so are the bottom of our socks.
Some are our socks. Yours are a lot worse than mine.
The rest are outside in the backyard because they dried and they wouldn't fit in here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we done. We hungry.
Yes, but now we have to clean up enough that we can close this.
Have to clean up that puppy.
Yes.
It worked well though.
It did.
I liked it.
Did its job.